Well, welcome back to Factorio building the Hyperbase. So, since last time I have spent a small bit of time doing a little bit of running around here to explore, to see how big this patch was. 260 million, that's pretty good. This one over here is very impressive at 3/4 billion. Another 600 million almost there, and an absurdly good 1.1 billion ore patch right here. I did tell you that the patches were very good, possibly even too good. And there's 680 million copper, just in case we didn't have enough. So what we might do is, what's that? That's not very big, but that one's a decent size. I think we'd like to try and get to a point where we're moving on to kind of the next phase of this. The next phase being we're going to need to plant beacons and all that good stuff. So we need steel, copper cable. So if that one is making the copper cable, what else do you need? Beacons. Green and red. So we can extend this red all the way in. And we can also bring green in, which may require some adjustments down here. Not least of which is probably moving that to there. No. That is not what we wanted to do. Let's just do that. This one here will need to go like that, and like so. And weave a slightly circuitous route through this maze. Your beacons, so you need both of these items. All you need is copper. Which you can get if that goes there. Something like that. Copper cable. And the other thing you need is steel. Steel will have to come through up here. And we can put that into a passive provider. We need a lot of these. We really do. Just make them. Okay, so that is beacons. Now, wagons and these guys, that's 20. I think it's time to get a little bit more real with those. 10, 20, 30, that's not going to be real enough. Just make some more. At the moment we have a pretty solid flow. Look how battered this is, even though it's just basically going to our very weak module build. I suppose some of these are being pulled off to make silos, of which I think we noticed there were about 4. Is that right? Yeah, 4. And what are we waiting on? We're waiting on concrete, which I've upgraded it to an assembly 3 machine. What's concrete's problem? Stone, bricks. What? Maybe that actually needs a stack inserter. Have any chance of loading up fast enough? We only need 5, but still. It needs 1,000 here, doesn't it? Yeah. So those are those things. You're on 6. Maybe I'm just being silly. Since I've got these, I may as well use them. Yeah, 7. Okay, so let's have a quick look up here at our solar. It's growing kind of nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A lot more nicely than me having to run backwards and forwards planting it down. And the other thing is, by doing it this way, the bots can build one fairly easily, but when there's lots of them, they build a little bit here, a little bit there, and it kind of goes all over the place. A 467 million patch, but according to this, it's only this funny shape, this zigzag shape, that is actually part of it. The rest of this is just a mess. Interesting. Well, we're probably going to start running over that, but never mind. You got to put that somewhere. So what I want to do is probably head down here and see how, see if we've got enough room for the sort of smelting that I might want to put into effect. I kind of don't want these trains impacting what goes on down here, if that makes much sense. I don't know if it does or not. I'm going to go down to this 260. I was going to use this one because it's quite big and it's quite wide. I'm not that concerned that I actually picked up a few of the miners. I don't know how many of those I just picked up, but I'm not that worried about that so much. Oh, and the other thing is we're going to stop using belts pretty much. For mining, we're going to go into more of a bot approach, which means we probably need a lot more of the passive providers and so on. 100 won't be nearly enough. Another 0 on that's probably a good idea. Another 0, you need to actually hit set. And over here, I guess the same thing really. So our bot mining operation. How many do I have? Not enough. Oh, the other thing I guess is the miners themselves. And do I want to try and use substations? Which probably should be increased to 100 anyway. I'm half thinking, should I make a controller for this area, or should I just move to a more modern version of Make Everything? That's not a very modern way of doing this. 100, 200, 300. But that will do for now. We probably will need some of these, so let's have some. And I will need a bit of rail. And let's see how we're going for these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these guys, don't actually think I've got enough room for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, we're going to have to get rid of some of these things that I don't actually need at the moment. It's not really going to help me. What about pipes? Where's the pipes? Here we go. You can have those. I don't need pipes because that's not what I'm doing at the moment. And you can have that. I'd like to get rid of this ore. Stone. Oh wow. I'll get rid of the stone. Iron plate. Good. Let's get some more. Train carriages. So I haven't pre-planned exactly how all this is going to work. We're going to have to take a little bit on, kind of on faith, I suppose. I could catch a train down here, but it really just blocks everywhere, so I might just run. So one of the things that cost us quite a lot of UPS in the last playthrough was trains, obviously. I mean, we did have 613 at the end, and there were times where the trains by themselves were costing over 5 microseconds every update cycle, and our budget is 16.6 if we're to run at 60 UPS. So 5 on trains obviously is too many. So we were running 383s. We're going to probably make a 383 seem a little bit like a bay. Do I not have any bots on me now? I can't see any. Oh, I've still got 50. Alright, well 50 is not enough, but it's better than none, I suppose. So here is our patch of 260 million. Yes, it's a lot, I agree. It's not as bad as the billion one, but that's in this playthrough. So yes, we have some very generous patches. Now, I want to see how big a train I can actually fit through here. Okay, wagons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Perfect. That is more or less exactly what I was hoping to be able to fit there. 20 wagons. So yes, 383s. So if we had bigger trains, we would theoretically be able to reduce the number. Now, what I'd like to do is a U-turn. That may not have been leaving enough space. In fact, I'm pretty sure it hasn't. But if we had some trains in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you appear to have flipped around. So do you, and so do you. You don't seem to want to flip back to the way I wanted you to. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's 10. But I actually wanted a few more than that. I'm thinking of trying out a 2016-20, where the 16 is actually referring to the engines sitting in the middle. Ten, 12, 14, 16, say, maybe? Oops. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's done the same thing, hasn't it? Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's too big by 1, 2, basically. Okay. So that's my corner piece. If it was instead about there, or even there, What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and another 20 wagons. That might not have been enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we need another wagon, which kind of highlights the difficulty of making this work. Now, I don't think we have nearly the speed to have these things just filling in directly at this point, because, well, we've got a 30% productivity, mining speed 0.5. I don't actually have any speed modules on me, but they don't do nearly enough at this point. So instead of that, I need stack inserters at least. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think this whole idea of just having about 3 per wagon should be fine. So something like this. Oh, and we're out. Probably not that surprising. I need a bunch of roboports. It doesn't look like the roboports are going to be able to be kept separate with this width that we've got here. But we'll cope. Oh, let's let that one go by. How's the solar train doing? Still some way to go. Here. How many blues did I need? I'm not sure. we also needed a bunch of, oh, that's not enough. There we go, that's more like it. And they're going to need to be made a little bit more seriously than that. 23. And stack inserters as well would be rather useful about now. Quite sure how short we were, so a couple should do. We can probably pick up a few more mining drills. I'll have to do for now, unless I want to grab some speed modules. How many have I got? 100. It's just a fluke, right? There's nothing stopping it unloading the 100. Shouldn't be. Alright, let's return to our new mine. If I do let that train, the solar train, completely fill up, it should be good for another 5 segments or so of solar, which, you know, it is taking too long, but once we have a few of these new super trains working, we should be able to increase production quite a lot. Now, part of the reason I'm sort of going with ore as a 20-16-20 is that I'm thinking of 8-20-0 as the size of choice for everything after the ore itself. Which would basically mean that if this actually goes into a special kind of dual smelter, whoops, that is not how that was supposed to work. A dual smelter, so we've got two completely separated smelters that is served by one train. Or at least the ore is delivered by one train, but the trains going out of it are actually going to be two half-size trains with the plate. And we'll alternate which half that they can feed from, so that it ends up being relatively even over time. Wow, I'm actually out. I didn't even do the maths on that. I probably should have. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you can see if it goes anywhere in here or even on the other side, it covers all the way to the other segment, so perhaps I shouldn't really worry about that too much. Can we get 2 of these between? No, we don't have that much room. So we'd have to do something more like this. And I'm out of those as well. How many of these can we fit? I'm spacing them out to start with. It might be better if they were feeding into one chest, but it sort of fits if they don't. I'm not leaving a lot of spaces to get through here. Let's just grab some. No. The likelihood of this row being able to fill this train, I would say very little. So we're going to want a row, in theory, in line with that. Looks like we could actually get 2 rows back here. Let's get rid of the excess. And on this side, of course, we want to do the same sort of thing. And these guys. Because they take up the least amount. Well, you need the fewest of them per have to go here. Which means we have to overuse them a little bit. And then go there. and there. And if that was actually connected to the power grid, that would have powered everything up. Wow, I'm out of them as well. Okay, so we need some big poles. We need some of these guys. What else are we missing? Alerts. Not enough something. Oh, I need some more. Oops, roboports. I think I had enough of everything else. Yes. Oh, I do have some stations. Good. So yes, one thing about these trains is that they are single-headed effectively, even if the head is in the middle for these ore trains. Single-headed, and that's mainly because they're so long, it would just take forever for them to reverse back the way they came. So we don't want to be waiting at that length of time. We want a train in. Once it's out, we want another one following on its heels as it departs. So hence single headers. Let's see if we can make that work. We might not be able to, in which case some things might have to change. Maybe at this point I might even grab some bots. I might grab another 50 construction bots anyway, and that's only 500. 500 slow bots probably won't be enough for this, but I guess it's a start. And we're going to have to set up something better than running backwards and forwards. Although this was a little bit experimental, obviously we're going to need to have a proper supply train set up in due course. There we go. So the solar is now 6.3 thousand. We're not using the other stuff at all. Okay, how come you guys are not? That's not what you're arguing or complaining about. You're complaining about the lack of these guys. Now, there are all these areas in between that should probably have something. Oh, and Stack inserters should probably go in these ones as well. And I really shouldn't have set this up without having already set up a train station. I'm not really sure. I want to have it follow the same labeling, so it might be big iron 1. Oh, and I haven't given the train any. Let's have a look what power's doing. Oh, this is actually kicked into gear. Oh, of course. The accumulators will only come into effect as a last resort, the way things are at the moment, but we can, we could potentially run down the steam engines so that that's not the case, but we don't really have to. Alright. Oh, we haven't set any requests here either. Maybe no, I don't really want to use wires if I can help it. 700 is the right number for each of these. So yeah, all 500 are busy. That's not especially surprising. 2k. Oh, that means this one's finished already. And they're just restocking. That actually filled here pretty quickly. But it did have the attention of all of them. I could probably do some calculations to see just how effective 500 are. I'm just looking to see what the pattern's like, to see if there's obvious examples of them sort of going from here all the way over here, and so far I'm not really seeing that, which is promising. But I think we're also getting to a time where I could really use some grenades. But yeah, next episode I guess we'll see if we can put some fuel into this train and set up smelting for it. It's kind of unbelievable that it takes a whole episode to set up one of these trains, but there you go. We do have a train now, a massive ore train number 1. All by itself does nothing so far. How's solar going? Oh, we are so close. So very, very close. Well, what I want to do basically is run up to this base, grab some grenades. I may even, these are grenades, I may even set it up so that we'll stockpile a few grenades just to help clear forests and things. How are you going? 2k. How are you going? 1.3. It's actually fairly even. 1.3. Slowly finishing. Are some of these getting ahead? No. So for the number of miners that we have, 500 is probably pretty close to fine. Let's see what it's doing over here. The logistic manager's hardly moved. Trains is... well, it'd be nice if it stayed there, but it obviously won't. Yeah. That's okay. So, what are we running back for? We're running back to get grenades, see the solar train, maybe shoot off once again, and wrap up the episode for next one, where we will try and set up the smelting. I think I've said that already. Oh, we're probably coming over too far if we want to go to the grenade area. Yes, over here is where grenades are. Just up here. I would put one of those down, but I don't think there's that much need for it really. What do they stack to? Might be 100. Yes, it looks like it is about 100. So we wanted grenades. We probably want a bit more rail at this point as well. And I need to check where electric furnaces are up to. How many are we making? There's a decent number. I can probably get rid of those guys at this point. Stone should be being removed. Belt. Oh. What? What are you doing? You need belt for those. Ah, right, okay. Forgot about that. Yeah. So we can get rid of all that extra belt. And then we can get a bunch of furnaces, but furnaces by themselves aren't going to help that much. I actually need a bunch of these guys, and this is where having a supply train set up would certainly help. Maybe we can donate the miners back to the mining cause, the electric miners. And get a few more of these. And a few more of these. So that will be for next episode. How far off are you now? 3.9, 1.9, 1.9. What does it mean by 1.9? 27. Well, that's not that many to wait, but I wonder how many there are here even. there's not that many. I might just jump on board here, ride the solar train to salvation, as it were. I think there's actually a bit of an imbalance. We should be using less accumulators than the solar panels, so we can probably afford to run slightly light. On the other hand, it shouldn't cost us overly. Does that say no? We do have a condition that basically, there you go, we're full. It basically says don't run until full. I'm just coming up here because I find this whole thing that I've set up kind of cool. I like to see it in action. So the A's should fairly rapidly climb to 6, which will let, there's 5, which will let another segment be built. Which one is not 5? Ah, that's interesting. So out here somewhere there were some bots sitting out charging because they'd cleared trees and they had nowhere to put the trees. So, and here they come. So that had actually stopped any possibility of anything getting built because the bots were out. But now they have the ability to empty all of these trees back onto this train. So that hopefully will mean that we should get back to the them all just waiting and not moving very soon. Which will then let this train, there you go, that should be 6. It is, the counter has started, which is only a minute. Now we're on that train, that's fine. The counter's up to 7, so it should do a 8. Well, how far off are we from? We're about halfway. So another 30 seconds or so. It should do a an 8, 9, 10, and then start a new row. And I might actually turn on F5 so I can try and see if recursive blueprint spikes for the there it is. It did spike, but it went back to something acceptable fairly quickly, so that's okay. And now the construction manager is doing something, but it's not completely untoward because it's only one of these at a time. So at least there's that. Oh, and we've got obviously some deconstruction to do. I wonder if this is a problem or if it's just we can't see that bit. The idea was supposed to be that the radar would show us all of that. Anyway, we've been rabbiting on for far too long, so thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time, and bye-bye for now.